And what's up, everybody? As we're here finally to preview the show that will be going down on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Saturday morning, depending on what time zone you're in. It's the Royal Rumble, and it's time officially to begin the road to WrestleMania. We're here today to preview the show, talk about the Royal Rumble matches, the two single matches, and everything else. We did simulate the show last night, as you guys saw. If you did not see, go check those videos out. We simulated all four matches on 2K, and we also did a best of Royal Rumble, and we took all the winners and we put them in a Royal Rumble match. But go check those out later on today. We got Impact on tonight. We got all the things. But now, let's get to it and let's preview these matches. Or first, let's go over them, and then we'll preview them. We got Drew McIntyre taking on Sami Zayn. We have AJ Styles taking on the Ring General Gunther. And then we have the men's and the women's Royal Rumble matches right here. We have all of the competitors, including Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton. Shout out to the Pro Wrestling Network. Go follow them on Facebook. That is where I got this picture. So shout out to them for having this list up and ready for us. Well, not me specifically, but just to be able to see and use and make it easier to know who's all in the match. So let's get to that. Let's see who's all here. Leave your questions, your comments, your concerns, all that things, whatever you want to talk about. We got no football this week as we got the 1 week until the Super Bowl, Patriots and the Seahawks. So just wrestling this week. What's up, Daniel? Cheers, Daniel. Happy Thursday. What's up, Michelle? Or what's up, Daniel? I'm sorry. And then what's up, Different Styles? What's up, Different Styles? How you doing today? So, guys, let's not waste any time and let's get into previewing and let's start previewing the matches. And the first one we're going to talk about, I'm not going to go in any specific order because I feel like we may start off with a Royal Rumble match and then I feel like we may end with a Royal Rumble match. And we have seen it in the past where they have matches main event that aren't the Royal Rumble matches. But I do feel like out of the two singles matches, they really shouldn't have, and they shouldn't be the main events of the show. So we're going to see, and we're going to talk about it. But the first one I want to talk about here is Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn for the WWE World Heavyweight Undisputed Championship. It is the new champ, Mr. Drew McIntyre, the Scottish Warrior, finally got his moment in front of fans. He finally won it. He finally did his damn thing, and he got all the things that he wanted. And now he's got a new challenger, and it's Mr. Sami Zayn. I thought Sami Zayn was going to win the Rumble. I didn't think he was going to not be in the Rumble. I mean, he very well could be in the Royal Rumble match. We do only have 19 competitors for the men, I think, even though they say it's full and Finn Balor can't get in. We did have Rey Mysterio get hurt as of late, so we very well could have Drew or Finn Balor take the place of Rey Mysterio in the match. But this one, I think it's going to be a good match. I think these two will go out there and be able to put on a good performance for us. Just the thing about it is I just don't know who is going to walk into WrestleMania as champion, because we do still have the Elimination Chamber in Chicago, and we will most likely find out one of the number one contenders for one of the titles, or one of the titles will be on the line. And I want Sami Zayn to win this. I really do. And I think it would be amazing to see him walk into WrestleMania or even just Chicago as champ. I just don't see him winning. Drew just got the title. Drew has been on a hot streak. Drew's been doing his thing. And in the end of this match, I do believe Drew McIntyre will get the dub. He'll take the win. He'll eat Sami Zayn. And in the end, he'll walk out still your WWE champion. Like I said, these two will go out there and put on a really good match. I think they'll put on a good performance. But I just don't know how much faith I truly have in Sami Zayn winning the title just yet. It would be awesome. Like I said, don't get me wrong. The moment would be phenomenal. No, nothing. That was not that was not set up for the next match. But Drew McIntyre, WWE champion, Sami Zayn. I think if Sami Zayn wins the championship, I mean, Sami, as I said, very well could be in the Royal Rumble match. and then he very well could just go and win it, because we've seen that happen where if Drew and Sammy start off the show and the men's Royal Rumble match is the main event, or even if this match is the third match, but I do feel like this match more or less likely would start off the show if it doesn't, and if it's not the third match, and if they don't start off with a Royal Rumble match. Because based on what I'm thinking they do, is I'm thinking they go Drew and Sammy, they go the women's Rumble, they go AJ and Gunther, and then they go the men's Rumble. Or they go the opposite. They go AJ and Gunther, they go the women's Rumble, then they go Sammy and Drew, and then the men's Rumble. Because I do believe the men's Rumble will main event, especially if we do get a big return, such as a Chris Jericho or somebody that they have been talking about, or we'll talk about the possibilities there. But Drew McIntyre walking out still your WWE champion after him and Sami Zayn. I know how we like to have, and people like me to predict the match like length. So I'll say like 16:30 for them. 16:30 for Sammy and Drew to go out there and put on a show. Now we got we got AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. When I said phenomenal, I should have just started talking about this match. But we do have the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, as he's taking on the Moment Breaker. I think that's what he's going to call himself now. Who the hell knows? But he's retiring everybody. He's retired Goldberg. He's retired John Cena. He very well might retire Brock Lesnar soon. But in this moment and right this second, he wants to take out Mr. AJ Styles. And he wants to defeat the man that is the man that wants to be the one. And to me, I don't want AJ to retire. I think it would suck to see AJ Styles go. But you got to think about it also this way. He debuted 10 years ago at the Royal Rumble, number 3 entrant against Roman Reigns. He obviously didn't last too long in the match. If I'm not mistaken, I think I just watched it. I think he got eliminated by Kevin Owens. I think. Could be wrong there. But was it Kevin? I think it was Kevin. But AJ Styles, it would be full circle for him to retire at the Royal Rumble. And, you can't believe any rumors or posts or anything that you see online, because if you do that, then you're just going to lose your mind, because if you, like I said, you do, not everything's true on the internet, and not everything that is said is the honest to God truth. What's up? What's up, Nick? How are we doing today? Nick, what you got for the Royal Rumble? What are your predictions for the show? So, back to Gunther and AJ. This one's been very difficult, because I think that we're going to somehow get a finish to where it's a disqualification. I don't know if this match ends clean. I'm sure we're going to get shenanigans. I'm sure we're going to get some other things. And very well, I could be wrong, and we just see AJ Styles go out and Gunther chokes him out like he did at John Cena. And that's the end of the match, and AJ rides off into the sunset. But I would love to see AJ Styles have one more WrestleMania match. And in that case, that is why I'm going to say this match ends in a no disqualification or a DQ finish. I'm going to say Gunther gets, or I guess AJ would get the win, but it's by DQ. We're live at 12 Eastern, previewing the Rumble on Saturday. Before it goes live, we'll offer full predictions. Then, as always, you are welcome and call-ins at 1 Eastern. Well, so wait, what time would that be? Oh, wow, what's because the show starts 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. I think the main show begins, right? I can't remember anymore. But that is why, like I said, I'm going to go AJ Styles to win by disqualification. And that does not hurt anybody. Now, let's get to the Royal Rumble matches, because this is what we're here to talk about. This is why we came here to preview the show, and it will now be officially the road to WrestleMania. Well, as I said, I think the women's Royal Rumble match will go first. So that is why I'm going to say that we have, and we're going to start off with the women. We're going to go over the women people that are the women people. The women superstars that have been announced officially that are on the card right there. And then we're going to go over the people that I went over, and I just looked at people that were on the roster that are not on this list, that could be injured, they could possibly be in the match and everything else like that. So we're going to go over this list. I'll tell you the people that I think will be in it, people that could be in it, some surprises, and all the things. We'll do this for both the men and the women. Does Lita return in the Women's Rumble? To be honest, I don't know if we have any legends. I'm watching a playback of last year's Women's and Men's Royal Rumble with all of the superstars watching it, kind of like how we do here, except they're able to show the screen and watch the actual match, and because they're WWE. But I don't know if we have any legends like a Trish, a Lita, an Ivory, an Alundra Blaze, a Candice Michelle, and Eve Torres possibly. I don't know, because we have seen, like last year, we saw Trish, but that was about it for the legend aspect. There really wasn't too many women, and with how deep the women's division is, with NXT, with the AAA, they have a couple good women over there. Raw, SmackDown, Evolve. I just don't know if they have any room to fit in a couple legends. I wouldn't mind it, and especially seeing Lita again would not be such a bad time. And I've said it throughout the weeks, if we're going to see some legends, I think it's going to be the people that we kind of seen on screen a little bit, and people that have wrestled in the last few years. Not even wrestled, but been a part of the Royal Rumble, such as like possibly a Michelle McCool. We did see Candice Michelle recently on TNA. We did see Miss Eve Torres at John Cena's retirement match. We have seen other people say that they will come, and I think the big surprise, and I'll just say it right now, she's right there. I think the big surprise for the Women's Royal Rumble is going to be Paige or Saraya, whichever one she comes out by. But I feel like, and she said it before in the past interviews that she's had, that she wants to come out as Paige, and she loves Paige and the character and everything else like that. So that is a very big possibility that we see Paige go out there and make a big return. We could see the Brie Bellas of the world. We could see possibly other legends like the Tori Wilsons, the Kelly Kellys, somebody I would love to see. I don't know if she's been in one, is Stacy Keibler. The one thing that does kind of give me a little bit of hope with the legends aspect of the Royal Rumble, just since Nick brought up Lita, and before we talk about Raw, TNA, that TNA is also another one. So I think, like I said, the Tori Wilsons, the Stacy Keibler. I think Stacy Keibler is somebody that, hasn't really been around. It hasn't really done too much, especially when they were back in the day. They didn't really do the things that they've done now. So if we're going to see somebody, I feel like it may be somebody that we may have seen on TV recently. And I don't know if it's going to be really that big, because we've heard the rumors that they have apparently had, and Sol Ruca and Lola Vice have been reportedly in, and they have been discussed for the Royal Rumble match. So is Mr. Iguana for the men's. Well, I think we're going to have some AAA environment too. Maybe we get one or two guys of AAA. Speaking of AAA, while we're on the topic of that, and before we get to all the other superstars that could be in the men's Rumble, and then talk about the actual match, here it is tomorrow. We got a Lucha Royal Rumble. We put 30 luchadors and masked men in the Royal Rumble. They are not all luchadors, but we put a bunch of AAA. We put a bunch of masked men, and we did a Royal Rumble match. So before SmackDown tomorrow, come and hang out. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to have another Royal Rumble. I did it randomly one night, and I was like, I'm going to do this episode, and then we never did. And then here we are now. Now we're doing it. So there we are. But back to people that we could very well possibly see. We're going to go by brands, because this is how I got it written out. So we still got Friday Night SmackDown. And as I said, I'll bring the list back up here. As of right this moment, I'll tell you guys the people, the men that are in this match as of this exact second. Okay, I did not want my big old face right there. Like that word, the thing. Oh, there we go. We have for the men, we got Cody Rhodes. We got Gunther, Jey Uso, Rey Mysterio. I think he's injured now, so I don't think he will be in it. Dragon Lee, Penta, Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Braun Breaker, Austin Theory, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul Division, Javon Evans, Oba Femi, Randy Orton, and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar announced on the Pat McAfee show, and Randy Orton announced on the Get Up on ESPN. Now for SmackDown, we have a lot of people that still have not been announced, and I literally went through every roster for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT and TNA to go through the people that I thought could very well be in this match. For SmackDown, I think we could see the likes of Aleister Black, Axiom, Carmelo Hayes, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano, Matt Cardona, Fraxium, Randy Orton. I figured he would be in it, but he's already in it. The Miz and Trick Williams. You can't have a Royal Rumble match without The Miz. So I feel like out of these people for SmackDown, they all very well have the right to be in the match. But I think that Nathan Frazier, Axiom, I think that obviously Orton's already in it. I don't know if The Miz will be in it, to be honest. But I do think that Aleister Black, Carmelo Hayes, Damian Priest, Matt Cardona, and Trick Williams will be in the match. And that is for SmackDown. The men, other superstars have already been announced, or they have, and they're not going to be able to be in the match, or I just don't see them truly being in the match. But that is who I have for SmackDown being the possibilities for the match. Now for Raw, we have a couple people three people actually that have not been, or four people to be honest, that have not been around in a while. We have Chad Gable, Mr. El Grande Americano, aka Chad Gable. We could see him return. The Intercontinental Champion, yes, the Intercontinental Champion. Dominic Mysterio, yes, he is still the champ. Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston always has his moments in the Royal Rumble. And I feel like if there's a person that might not be, or that may be in it if it's possible, it could be Mr. Kofi Kingston. LA Knight, Sheamus. We haven't seen Sheamus in a while. And I know he said that he's not going to be in it on ESPN and NFL Network, but Seth Rollins. Yeah, keep an eye out for Mr. Rollins. Now, for TNA, we got Mike Santana, the TNA champ, Leon Slater, the X Division champion, Moose, Nick Nemeth, and possibly, I don't even know, Frankie Kazarian, I'll say. I think that TNA will have a couple aspects, and in the past Royal Rumbles, you guys know how I am. I'll go back and watch all the Royal Rumbles. We've seen a lot of champions that have shown up. Joe Hendry. We've seen Jordan Grace show up. We've seen Mickie James show up as a women's TNA Knockouts champion, TNA women's champion. So I think if there's going to be anybody from TNA, there's going to be champions. And for the women, while we're on the topic of just TNA real quick, I think we could see Indi Hartwell maybe make an appearance. Maybe her and Candice LeRae have one more moment together. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't think Elena Black, I think she just came back. I think that she would be it would be too early. Maybe somebody from the Elegance brand, since they kind of feuding on the main roster a little bit, or NXT. I'm not too sure. Speaking of NXT, though, for the men, there's only 3 guys. We saw the NXT division get depleted as of late, and I think that there's 3 guys that we could see from NXT. Ethan Page, the North American champion. We do not have an NXT champion, and as I said, they love to bring the NXT women's and NXT champion in Royal Rumble matches. So the next best champion is Ethan Page. We got Ricky Saints. He is going to be in the ladder match for the championship next Tuesday. But why not? It's absolute, and it would be so great to see him in the Rumble. And the last one is somebody I don't think you guys may expect me to say, but Shawn Spears. NXT, we have seen Shawn Spears in 2 Royal Rumble matches when he was Ty Dillinger, and he came out as the number 10 entrant when he was a perfect 10. So maybe we'll see him once again. And I love, as I say, The Miz, he comes out in whatever Royal Rumble match is playing right now. So that is for NXT. And that is the men that I do think that we could very well see. Other men, obviously, that are not in professional wrestling. And TNA, now that I think about, Jeff Hardy would be pretty cool to see. I think, though, the big name that everybody thinks and is hoping to see is the one and only Break the Walls, Mr. Chris Jericho. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't want to say it is because I don't want to get anybody hopes up, but I do always like to say you just really never know, because it's just one of those things. You talk about it and maybe it happens, maybe it don't happen. But if I'm going to give the probability or the possibility that Chris Jericho shows up, I feel like because it's in Saudi, that was actually his last wrestle WWE appearance on, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi. I think that was in Saudi. And Chris Jericho was in it. I think he was the final 2 with Daniel Bryan, or the first 2. I don't know, one of the 2 I think he was. But I think that Chris Jericho very well could be a big possibility and somebody that, we could see out there. I really hope we don't see guys like IShowSpeed, Let's not have a Mr. Beast. I feel like if we could get one of those guys, though, we've seen him been training with Randy Orton. I feel like we could get KSI. I don't know why. Or, well, I guess I Show Speed. No, is it I Show Speed that's been training again? I don't know. But I feel like if it is going to be one of them, it could be one of those guys. But I'm really hoping not, because there's a lot of people that, as of right this second, have not been announced, and people that I'm not even thinking of right now that I'm sure we'll see in the next few days, or that I'll think about after the show, like I always do, and we'll think about and everything else like that. Will we see any legends? I don't want to get anybody hopes up. I do not think The Rock is showing up. If The Rock does show up, that might be the biggest surprise of the weekend. And, Triple H be saying that we're going to have all these surprises and everything. But do any of us actually believe anything that comes out of the mouth of Triple H? I love myself, Triple H, and he's the game, and he likes to play it, and great childhood, great moments, great memories, all that good stuff. But I just don't know how I feel about the possibility or that. Triple H has been on all the cases or on the covers of 2K. Why does he just enter himself in the Royal Rumble match, right? There we go. We could just do that. He could just enter himself in the Rumble. And then Triple H could, do that. I thought it would be kind of funny. I forgot who I was talking about, and I said it, and I can't remember who I was. But if you guys remember back in, I think it was the 95, no, it was in the 98 Royal Rumble that Mick Foley came out as 3 personalities. I thought that would be hysterical. I forgot who it was. I forgot who I was thinking or I was talking about, but I think that would have been hysterical. Could we see? I don't even want to put it out into the universe, but I'm going to anyway, because why the hell not? What if we see the TNA general managers, or the special assistant or whatever the hell he calls himself, Mr. Santino Marella? I do think, as I said, AAA will obviously be in there, and if there's one person, it's going to be Mr. Iguana. Other returns, though, and other people that I could even see for the men, other than people that are possibly injured, like Kevin Owens, maybe. I don't know about that one, though. I do think we will see JD McDonough. JD McDonough has been out of action for a little bit of time. Elton Prince, we've obviously heard about Elton Prince since the neck surgery. I don't know about that, but I do think that we will see JD McDonough out of the injured people that we have. Dominic, I already talked about. Rey Mysterio, I feel like he's kind of up in the air, and I feel like we'll get a better clear and a better answer on that with his availability to the match on Friday for SmackDown. We'll have to wait and see. Again, we do still have SmackDown, so there are people that I may have talked about, and on Saturday they're going to be in the match. Or we see it all the time where they don't even announce the people, but then, and you'll see me do it on Saturday, I'll say if they're a surprise or not, and I'll have the list up and everything. And there's times where they just won't announce The Miz, and then The Miz just comes out. So it could very well just be like that. We have not seen the Street Profits in a while. Maybe we see some of those guys. I don't know. If you guys got anybody in mind, if anybody I'm missing, I can't even think right now. So if there is anybody right now that you can think of for the men, I think I pretty much covered it all. We're not getting no crazy person, I don't think, with Great Khali's, or maybe the Big Show will show up. There we go. Well, number 30, it's the Big Show. Now, though, let's talk about the winners for the match. If I'm going to pick a Final Four, because we could obviously go through all the match, we could go through every participant and how everybody's going to get eliminated, but we'll be here all day long. So we will not be doing that. I'm just going to tell you I think is going to be in my Final Four. And I think it's kind of what it was on the simulation. I think we see Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, hypothetically Chris Jericho shows up. We'll say Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns, and I'll give you a couple more because maybe 4 is a little bit too low. Roman Reigns, I will say Logan Paul, because Vision will, I feel like, have the numbers for a lot of it. And then I will say, lastly, the other person to be in the match, it's always the person that won it last year, the year before, and I'm going to say Jey Uso. Probably 7-8 might be Cody and Gunther. Maybe they eliminate each other, or maybe Gunther gets eliminated because Gunther did announce himself for the Rumble match and put himself in the match So that's why I'm saying we could very well see Sami Zayn in the match too. We could very well see AJ Styles in the match. We could even see Drew McIntyre in the match if he loses it. We saw Roman Reigns one time. He went out there to start off the show, and then he came out at number 30. So we'll have to wait and see what exactly happens with that. But I'm going to say that's kind of where I'm going with that. And the final two, I'm going to go Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker. And I'm going to say that the winner of the men's Royal Rumble match, I'm going to say that it's Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker lost the title to CM Punk. He's got the vision. He's got the advantage. And I'm going to say Braun Breaker walks out. And he'll be going to WrestleMania to go on to fight for a title. I don't know what title that would be. And who knows? It could be against Seth Rollins. But I'm going to say that Braun Breaker wins this year's Royal Rumble match. Again, I could very well be totally wrong, but that's what I'm going to go with. So now that we did the men's, let's talk about the women. Because for the women, we do have a little bit more of a entrant full pool. But we do still have opportunity for surprises, returns, etc., everything else like that. So let's go over the women that have been already announced for the Royal Rumble match this year. We have the one and only, you only live once, Liv Morgan. We have Roxanne Perez. We have Raquel Rodriguez. We have, why can't I speak right now? We have Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Raquel, Liv, Roxanne, as I said, Bayley, Lyra, Asuka, Kairi Sane, maybe we'll most likely see her in there, Chelsea Green, Jordynne Grace, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, Lash Legend, Julia, Maxine, and the Intercontinental Champion, Becky Lynch. And as you guys saw yesterday, I did my best to try to predict the people that will be in it. And for the women, they have 17 of 30. So we have 13 people for both the men and the women. That could be a big possibility of surprises. So those are the 17 women that could be in the match. And now let's talk about people from SmackDown, Raw, NXT, and TNA that very well could be in the match. As I mentioned with the women already, Indy Hartwell, I think would be a good one from TNA. I don't know about Elena Black. I don't. Maybe Ash by Elegance. Maybe she'll make a quick appearance in there. I know Leo would love that. But from TNA, I don't feel like there's too many people that we could see. Maybe Xia Li. She's now the champion. Maybe she comes out in her new name. Xia Brookside, possibly the Inspiration. But I know that they're free agents. Like I said, I think the big surprise is going to be Paige. We could see Brie Bella. I think we see Nikki Bella. I think that we see, and we have a lot of people that we may not be thinking about that could come out. I'm honestly more excited for the women's Royal Rumble than the men's, because the Royal Rumble for the women have always not been that bad. For SmackDown, though, we have Nikki Cross, Meecham, Kiani James, Julia obviously has announced herself before I made this list. Chelsea Green did announce herself. Bianca Belair and B-Fab. B-Fab is injured, so I'm not too sure, but I just wanted to put her out there because you don't know. She might be back. But I think also the big return also is, as I said yesterday, you can't have WrestleMania without the EST of WrestleMania. I think Bianca Belair is returning. We have not seen her in a while. She might very well just come out at number 30. I think that, Bianca Belair having a moment in the Royal Rumble, returning after all these time, and being able to go out there and just put on a really good show, I think it's going to happen, and I'm excited to see it. I do think that we also could very well see our girl AJ Lee. Let's light it up, AJ Lee has not competed in a Royal Rumble match, and when we saw her return in Chicago last year, and we talked about it after the show, I talked about it when we predicted her the 1 year of AJ Lee. I predicted that she would be in the Royal Rumble and the War Games and the Elimination Chambers and stuff like that. And I think it's going to continue. She's going to be in her first ever Royal Rumble match this year. And I said, as I talked about some of the legends, like I said already, we could see them. But I don't know if it's going to be too much top heavy for the women, for the legends. I think we're going to see a lot of NXT people and stuff like that. For Raw, Ivy Nile has not announced herself. Natty surprisingly hasn't announced herself, but I feel like she definitely will. We have Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella has not announced yet. Nikki's been kind of MIA. We haven't seen or heard much of her, but apparently she's been, and we spotted her, or somebody spotted her in Saudi Arabia. So she'll be there. And a big person that, not even a big person, but somebody that I think that somebody, and may have forgotten about, is Miss Zoe Starks. Zoe Starks, we have not seen in a long time. She tore her ACL about maybe almost a year plus ago, and she, you know how long that takes, and time wise, if you watch or sports games, football, baseball, you know that it takes about 12 to 15 months. So I think we very well could see Zoe Starks, and if she's not ready, then maybe it's the Raw after WrestleMania. They do try to make that a big show, but the Zoe Starks of the world, the injuries, and a few legends, I think, is how we're going to do the Royal Rumble for the women, because NXT, we know it's got the greatest women's division in NXT, and they will have, hopefully, maybe about 4 or 5 representatives in the match. We do have Blake Monroe, I think, is a big possibility. It can't have a Royal Rumble without some glamour, right? Jada Parker, Miss Parker, she competed in last year's Royal Rumble. I would not be shocked to see her. Sol Ruca, we did say Sol Ruca and Lola Vice have been spotted and may be in that match. JC Jane is somebody that I do think that very well could be in the match. Zarya is somebody else. You know, we've seen Zaruka on the show. They've been on SmackDown. They've been on Saturday Night's Main Event and everything else like that. And, you know, NXT, there are so many women in NXT, and they've kind of depleted the roster. I know there's a lot of people that might, you know, I would love to see like the Carmen Petrovics. I would love to see, they may put Nikita Lyons in there. Why the hell not? But I just don't know if they're going to put those caliber of women, because they're obviously not top on the card right now, which they should be, but they're not. And that's why I think it's going to be like the Blakes, the Jadas, the Lolas, Sol, Zarya, etc. And that, you know, I wouldn't even mind seeing a Tatum Paxley. Let Tatum Paxley come out and bring out the chainsaw, and let's see Tatum. That would be hysterical. That would be the greatest 90 seconds if she ran down the ramp with a chainsaw and then just jumped over the top rope. That would be hysterical. Who knows? We very well could see it. People we will not see. We will not see Naomi. She is still pregnant, guys. She's gone. Hopefully, Ronda Rousey. Let's not pursue. I got nothing against Ronda Rousey, but I just don't know if I want to watch Ronda Rousey. You know, yeah. So I don't think we're going to see Ronda Rousey. Somebody, though, that I was just thinking about that we could see that isn't signed anywhere that I know of. Maybe they're competing on the independents. But what if they bring back like a Shayna Baszler or somebody like that? I think that would be really interesting. You know, I hope that the one day we do get Miss Mercedes Moné to come back. I think that would be really, really cool, because I think that Mercedes having a moment eventually back in WWE would just be something that needs to happen. It doesn't need to be whatever. It could be a one-off. It could be Mercedes needs to come home eventually, just like we're going to see Paige come home, and it's going to be a good old time. For the women, though, we have a lot of great options. We have 13 spots, and there's not enough time to be able to fill all of them, and the amount of people that deserve to be in this Royal Rumble match that won't be, it is truly kind of, you know, these are the moments. If you remember back in 2011, we watched it here on the channel. We had a 40-person Royal Rumble match, and yes, it was god-awful. It was. I'm not saying it was. It wasn't god-awful. But if we had 40 competitors now, or shit, we had the greatest Royal Rumble, and we had 50 competitors, they would be able to fit 50 competitors now to where we don't have to use jobbers. And I was watching this playback with the men. I forgot who said it. It might have been Sammy or Mello. Yeah, I think it was Mello. And he made a comment about, if you remember back in the day, we would have the Simon Deans of the world, the Tantakas, the Koshi Tatsu, the freaking Santino. I love Santino, but Santino Marellas of the world. We all knew they really weren't going to win. But if you gave somebody a piece of paper to write 40 people that you could have in a Royal Rumble match right now, for both the men and the women, give me a piece of paper and I could do it right now. So I think that this would be a time to eventually maybe put it to 40 people. And I don't know how well that would work, but yes, it'd be chaotic and everything. But, yeah. And also, he's on the thumbnail, and I did want to mention him, Mr. Kevin Owens. I don't know if he's healthy. It would be cool to see him be able to return and have that moment and everything else like that. But I just truly don't think that Kevin Owens is ready yet. And if he is, it's going to be a number 30. And I don't know if he'll wrestle after that. So hopefully we see Kevin Owens return eventually. But just some other things about Royal Rumble nonsense and shenanigans I wanted to mention, because I could truly, you guys know how much I love the Royal Rumble the last 3 years. We've watched all of the Royal Rumbles on the channel. We've talked about them. We've done rankings. We've done all the things for the Royal Rumble. And it's my favorite pay-per-view of the year. So just like the men, let me give you my final four for the women. We're going to go Liv Morgan. I'm going to go Saraya. I'm going to go Rhea Ripley. And I will go... I'll say Jordynne Grace. So out of those four people that are going to win this match, it may not be a popular pick, but I know a lot of people that will agree and that been wanting this moment. She's entered at number 1. She's entered at number 2. She at one point was the shortest time, and she had the shortest time surviving in the match in the Women's Royal Rumbles. She's come oh so close. And well, I think it's time for her to come even closer. And I think it's time for her to win it all. It's going to be short and sweet with the women. Liv Morgan going to go out there. She's going to win the damn match. She's going to go on to WrestleMania. And if she doesn't, I'm going to say, and I guess if there's a fifth person, she's going to also return. It's Bianca Belair. It's been between Bianca and Liv for me. And, I don't know if Bianca's going to win it. I would love to see Bianca and Jade at WrestleMania, because I feel like that would be the match they could lead up to. They could put a good story on and everything else like that. But if and more and more I've been thinking about it, if Bianca is to come back, maybe she comes back, and we've seen people come back like John Cena and Edge and etc. win the Royal Rumble match. But what if she comes back, she comes oh so close, maybe Final 5, Final 4, maybe she does make the Final 4, and then maybe she wins the Elimination Chamber in Chicago. Remember, that's where Jade Cargill came back. She turned on Naomi, and then Bianca kind of had a little, her head was fucked up. Her friends were fighting. She wasn't having it. It wasn't a good time, and it was just all the things that she didn't want to have happen. Well, what if, like I said, Bianca Belair does not win the Royal Rumble? Liv Morgan wins the Royal Rumble. We see Liv Morgan against maybe Raquel Rodriguez. Maybe Raquel wins the title, more or less likely against Stephanie Valkyrie. And then we see Bianca and Jade Cargill. So the more, as I talk about that, and you guys know also I've talked about this, and it's kind of funny because I heard Mr. Small Afro Jaren talk about it also. If you guys notice, throughout the years of the Royal Rumble, and I did a short on this, I've talked about it every year during the Royal Rumble, and I'm always going to talk about it because it's just something that needs to be talked about. Until it's not true, it's going to be talked about. Every single year for many, many years, they have had whoever the final two are in the Royal Rumble matches have main evented that year's WrestleMania. Last year, Jey Uso and John Cena. 2005, John Cena and Batista. 2006, Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio. 2007, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. Even though Shawn Michaels didn't really, 23, did he? Yeah, no, he did. 20, right? 2007, yeah, 2003, yeah. He did. He faced John Cena. 2000 and WrestleMania 24, Triple H and John Cena, they fought in the same match. 25, Triple H and Randy Orton, they fought in the same match. 26, 2000, where were we at? 2010, it was Edge and John Cena. Edge fought Chris Jericho. John Cena fought Batista. I go on and on and on about this, on and on. The only good times it has not happened is with Alberto Del Rio and Santino Marella. And then, was it Rusev and Roman in 2016? Right? Because Rusev was the final two of Roman. Yeah, because Rusev was the final two of Roman, and Rusev got eliminated. I mean, Rusev did go on to face John Cena at WrestleMania, so he did it. He did have a big time match, but it just wasn't the main event match, as I said. So for many, many years, we've seen the final two main event WrestleMania. So just keep that in the back of your head when you're watching on Saturday afternoon. And when the final two happen, just think who it is. And could we very well see them in the Royal Rumble match? Guys, we've been here for about 42 minutes, 40 minutes to be exact. I was a couple minutes late. My bad, don't yell at me. We'll be back here at 8 o'clock for TNA. The OTM fellas go live at 7 o'clock, so make sure you go and check them out. I don't want to go over their time, and I don't want to take up their time. So if you got any more questions, you got any comments or concerns, leave them in the chat below. Leave them in the comments below. And we'll be back at 8 o'clock if you want to talk more about it. As I said, we'll be here live at 8 o'clock for TNA. We got AJ Francis. We got The Bead. We got BDE taking on Nick Nemeth. We got Elena Black and more as it's a TNA Thursday Night Impact. Tomorrow, as I said, we'll be here tomorrow before SmackDown to watch the 2026 Lucha Lord Royal Rumble. I'm going to try to get the Great Brown Hope to join us. We'll see if he does or not. But it's a Lucha Royal Rumble. I don't have all luchadors, but they're all masked. They all got face paint. AAA guys and all. So it's going to be a good one. Can't wait for you guys to see it. Now, let's get to what we got going on Saturday. As I said, we just previewed the show. We simulated the show. Well, let's watch the show and let's find out what really happens on Saturday afternoon. Come and hang out as we watch the show and we see if I got any of these predictions right. Probably not. And then on Sunday, it's the road to WrestleMania begins season 3. I cannot believe we are here on season 3 of it. We're going to come back here. We're going to talk about the winners of the Royal Rumble matches, the winner of AJ and Gunther, the winner of Drew and Sammy, where the road after the Royal Rumble leads. It's going to be a weekly show here on the channel. I'm not too sure exactly what time, probably in the morning time. I figured why not, because we don't got football this week. We got to do something. So, Road to WrestleMania episode. The thumbnail will be made after the Rumble on Thursday. After the Royal Rumble on Saturday. So, make sure that you guys join us for that on Sunday. We still got a couple more shows. Royal Rumble. There's still a lot to do this week. So, guys, before we go, let's see if we got any questions. Soul Lola, Mr. Iguana. What's up, Jeff? Do you think maybe a Bella or Paige? I think we could see Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, and Paige. I think all three of them very well. But again, as I like to say, I just did not, and I just trying to my best to not get my hopes up too high, because we've seen it in the past, and we've seen it happen that just is not, we always get our hopes up and we always get let down. So don't get expectations too high and then you don't get let down. Ta-da. What? Oh, Ronda Rousey. Or TNA Knockout Girl. I mean, I think we could see some of the TNA Knockout Girls. Maybe Rosemary. I don't know if Rosemary's still in TNA. I think she is. So I think we could see some TNA people. But as I said, there's so many people. There's only 13 spots for so many people. And that's my only thing. Is who is going to take up those spots? Who's going to fill those spots? And where are they going to go? Guys, appreciate y'all coming here and hanging out with me. All the comments have been read, I think. Let me make sure. Oh, we got Hassan saying Trish possibly. Different styles saying Natalya wins the Royal Rumble. Probably Liv, but Lash Legend in the upset. Ooh, interesting. Who would Lash face at WrestleMania then? Since last week, I don't think Braun. I see. That's what I said. I think it could very well be a shocker, like the Jey Uso. Shush, please. I think we're going to get a lot of shush, please. Imagine a Karma and Nia Jax Lash Legend showdown. Oh, God. I don't know how to feel about that one. Hey, we say his name and he appears. Great Brown Hope, did you hear me say your name, bro? I literally, guys, what was it, like 2 minutes ago? Funny as hell. What's up, Eric? How we doing? Appreciate you guys, though, coming and hanging out here after we've been rambling here for 45 minutes. As I said, we'll be back here at 8 o'clock for TNA. So if you have not yet, make sure you go follow all the social medias on the ticker below. The main event, the OTM guys here on Tino's Time. So We are on the road to 4,000. We are on the way to 3,700. So if you have not yet hit that subscribe button, guys, enjoy the rest of your Thursday night if I don't see you here for TNA. And if not, I'll hopefully see you tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown. Why did you say my name? We were talking about the Lucha. I summoned you. Yeah, we were talking about the Lucha Rumble. I was telling them that you may be able to stop by, but not too sure because you have work and everything. You know, nothing bad. Never bad. I don't hate. Who said I hate AEW? Nobody said I hate AEW. Well, guys, appreciate y'all. I'll see you at 8 o'clock. Come and hang out. We'll chat some more as we watch TNA on AMC.